Hello there. Golden Era podcast league update. We are going with continued new format, refining our approach. We're merging, like Stanford and Scranton. We're coming together. We're bringing the league update and the podcast episodes together into one show. A little bit easier to put together 3 videos, a little bit hopefully easier on you, the viewer, to kind of just have all the information in one video, not have to track down 2 different pieces. So we're going to go through our league portion, add a little bit of commentary to that, a little bit of context to some of the things going on, and then we're jumping in to a handful of topics. Today we're going to talk Golden State, we're going to talk Portland, some big news and some big thoughts on both of them. But of course, first, the league update is where we're going to start it off. And we're going to start it off in Golden State, where the Warriors have been exceptional as of late. They are 12-1 over the last 13 games. They had a really great game against Atlanta to start things off. 43 first quarter points, yet they only scored 94 in the game, so they hold off the Hawks, who are trying to survive. So big wins, though, over Milwaukee, over Chicago, over Sacramento, and over Toronto. So notable wins as the Warriors have been steamrolling. Head to the standings in the Eastern Conference. The Nets holding on for dear life of the top spot because the Orlando Magic are on a roll, 11-2 over the last 30 days. That's the second best record in the league, behind only Golden State with a plus 18.5 point differential. That is the best mark in the NBA. Meanwhile, in the Western Conference, Golden State, of course, sits on top. The excitement, though, the thing to watch, that 2 through 4, the Jazz, Thunder, Kings, all battling, and then the race for the play-in. Is it going to be the Lakers, the Blazers? Who's going to get that top spot out there in the West? Our league leaders, Jalen Justice, on top of the points per game. No Amari Swift, no Brighton Reed in this top 5. Why? Injuries. They have not eclipsed the percentage of games played, though both of them are on the verge of coming back. Justice, though, sits on top. Rebounds, it continues to be Rashawn Matthews. It's been Rashawn Matthews all season long. Assists per games, Killian Hayes, welcome to the chat. He now has eclipsed the number of games played required to be in the top 5, and he jumps in at 9.5, but that's still behind Javon Stokes. And then steals, Savion White still leads the league despite the fact that he is out with a broken leg, a big part of the challenges that the Blazers have had since his injury, an 0-8 mark. And then blocks per game, Xavier Carter now eligible for league leaders. He comes in at number 2, kind of close that gap, though Cameron Sullivan has been leading the league since the beginning of the season. Seems unlikely he gets caught, though. Carter competing for it if he can. All right, let's head to the league. What's going on? Golden State, they're 12-1, and it's time to sit back, admit it, come to the conclusion. Not only are the Golden State Warriors the prohibitive favorites, but at this point it feels illogical to think anybody else could win the NBA Finals. Why? Because this team is doing quite literally everything right. They've got the number 1 offense in the NBA. They've got the number 2 defense in the NBA. No other team in the entire league has a top 5 offense and defense, and only 2 other teams, the Magic and the Suns. Magic have been playing great as of late. The Suns have as well. Only those 2 teams are sitting with a top 10 offense and defense. The Warriors have an absolutely dynamic top 3. We've talked about this ad nauseum. Javon Roll, Deontay Dixon, and Jonathan Kuminga. The only 3 players, the only 3 teammates to be averaging 24 points or more on the same team. No other team has that. A couple others, the Kings, the Suns, the Hornets, the Thunder, have guys averaging 20 points per game. It doesn't matter. Everywhere you look on this group, you have nowhere to hide a bad defender because Javon Roll, Dixon, or Kuminga are going to attack you. Their defense, equally impenetrable. We thought this would be a concern for them. Shane Ruffin, he's gone. Alfonso Harrell, he's gone. That's 2 pieces of a 3-time championship starting 5. And what are they replacing them with? An unproven Russell Kingston and a rookie Jalen House. Kingston has been massively important. He is 10th in the NBA in blocks per 36 minutes and rebounds per 36 minutes. Opponents are shooting 53% from within 6 feet and 42.4% within 6 to 10. Kingston has been an all defense type of player in limited minutes because the Warriors have to find some type of minutes for big boy inside, 7'8", Aiden Lucas, because he's just an absolute force. But Kingston has been dominant. Behind him, you got Jermaine Trimble allowing opponents to shoot 55.5% within 6 feet, and Deontay Dixon 58.8%. People cannot score when they get inside against Golden State. The best piece of their interior defense, maybe not best, but Javon Roll, opponents are shooting 55.7% as Javon Roll is the primary defender within 6 feet. What that means is the Warriors do not have to collapse on an attacking guard who is defended by Javon Roll. Roll can easily contest those shots, make life extremely difficult inside, allows the Warriors to stay home. To think any other team is going to win a championship if all things remain the same, all things remain healthy, would be a massive upset. I don't care if it's Phoenix. I don't care if it's Utah. I don't care if it's Boston or Brooklyn in the NBA Finals. Whoever takes down, if anyone takes down the Golden State Warriors, we should consider to be an absolute massive upset. Sure, they're not going to have a 70-win season. They might not win 76-6, which would be an incredible upset had they lost back to Orlando when they were down 2-0. But this team has been, by far and away, head and shoulders above the rest of the league. Anyone that manages to take them down, it's notable. Let's head to Portland, where Savion White has been out with a broken leg. It seems like his season is probably going to be done. And I think it might be time to wonder, is his time in Portland also done? Since he's been out, February 12th, they are 0-8. Their closest loss was a 6-point defeat to Golden State. They're allowing 117.2 points per game, which is the 6th worst mark in the NBA. They're scoring a 7th worst 104.2 points. Only 2 teams have lost their last 5 games, the ever-elite Memphis Grizzlies and New Orleans Pelicans. If I'm Savion White and I'm looking at this roster, and give credit where credit's due, Portland has tried like gangbusters to add talent to this group. They went out and they signed Evan Mobley in this massive 5-team sign-in trade a season after he wins his 2nd straight Defensive Player of the Year, averages 17.5 points, and shoots 40% from deep in Golden State, his 1 season there. But he hasn't been that guy in Portland. They went out and they traded for Jalen Blackman, also from Golden State. They gave up Aaron Triano, lottery pick who's been a fine rotation player for the Warriors. He hasn't evolved anything more than a 15-point-per-game scorer. Their second best player is Jonte Taylor, who, again, is good, but he's not a number 2. They have tried. They missed on on Jason Sanders. They missed on Luka Doncic. They couldn't get Ja Morant to believe he should come to Portland when his other option was sitting in 80-degree weather all winter long in Miami. But if you're Savion White, what are you coming back to? There's no other piece. There's not a lot of trade pieces that you can make to go out and get a superstar. Yes, you've got some notable names that are free agents. Ezekiel Morrow on the market this summer. You know who else is? Savion White, unrestricted free agent. Look around the landscape of the league. Louis Morgan is also an unrestricted free agent. Could you replace him in Brooklyn? You went to school with Bryton Reed. That's a much better pairing than anything you've ever gotten in Portland. Jalen Justice and the Raptors have been committed to trying to find something. Justice only has 1 year left. How long before he starts holding the Raptors' feet to the fire? The Blazers have been good. They've been competent. This has been the best era in Portland history since Damian Lillard's time there when they made one Western Conference Finals. They lost to Golden State and pushed them in a 7-game series with the Clint Capella-Yusuf Nurkic frontcourt duo. But they just continue to be one step behind the league, most notably that sweep last season at the hands of the Phoenix Suns. It's time to start watching this very closely because I don't know that there makes a ton of logical sense outside of just blind loyalty to the Portland organization for Savion White to say, this is the place for me to be now and for the second part of my NBA career. He's 28. He's not getting any younger. I think he's old enough. I think he's 29, 30 years old. He's not getting any younger. The time for a championship window is now. He needs to try to find it, and I don't think it's in Portland. We got a couple broadcast games coming up this week. Let me see what they are. I want to make sure we're delivering accurate content. This is sick YouTube content. 2 games are Golden State at Phoenix. We saw this one before. It was a Phoenix win in Phoenix. This is Phoenix at Golden State, I beg your pardon. That last time they met was a 129-106 Phoenix victory. And then a couple days later, we get Brooklyn and Boston in Brooklyn, battling for potentially the number 1 seed, if not at least hanging around one another for a top 4 seed. Thanks as always for tuning in. Drop some comments, any questions, any thoughts, if you think Savion White should stick around, if the Warriors could actually lose, or anything else across the association, and we will talk to you in Golden State.